Hello everyone and welcome to Spot. In this episode we're gonna have a look at the Stormlash Kicksin, and that's extremely strong and powerful build. Now let's start with the distribution points. So we've got our level 90 assassin. Let me quickly tell you one pro tip: the Kicksin benefits dramatically from both strength and dexterity points, so we'll see later on. Anyway, we've got the base value of 110 strength. That's just to be able to put a storm shield, which requires 156, but we've got our items boosting up our strength value. That's why our base is just 110. We've got the base value of 120 dexterity. This is with a reason. We've increased our chance to block up to 75%, which is the maximum. We also got a really decent amount of attack rating coming up from the dexterity points as well. The rest of the stats are going into vitality to maximize the life pool of the character, and that's our resistance pool as well. You can see our advanced stats tab. So we've got damage reduced by 59%, 50 is the maximum, so anything above that doesn't really work. We've got 9% life stolen per hit, 90% increased attack speed, 60% faster run walk, 60% faster hit recovery, 35% faster block rate, 10% damage taken goes back to mana. We've got attackers take lightning damage of 40, which is actually very helpful. Whenever it procs, it applies like a mini-stun effect on the enemies. We've got 68% chance of crushing blow, that's very huge. We've also got 15% deadly strike, which sadly does not work on a Kicksin. We've got 26 lightning absorb, we've got cold absorb of 20%, and very important option, cannot be frozen. So let's quickly discuss the skill tree now, starting up with the martial arts page. We've got maxed out Dragon Talon, 20 points on that, 1 point into Dragon Claw, 1 point into Dragon Flight. These both are just prerequisites to unlock the Dragon Flight skill. Ultimately, I like to use this skill in PvP and PvM situations. It can be helpful as a shortcut in certain areas, and also as a repositioning tool for your mercenary and a shadow, if you utilize one. So I'd like to unlock and use this skill. You don't have to, you can spend less points by not having it, but that's for the martial arts page. Let's quickly go over the shadow disciplines. So over here I've got just a maxed out Shadow Master, and the rest of the skills are just a one-hit wonder. From this skill page I'm using Burst of Speed as well as the Cloak of Shadow skill depending on the situation. Now let's go over the trap skills. So we've got a single point into Fire Blast, single point into Shockwave, maxed out Lightning Sentry, maxed out Death Sentry, and the rest of the skills goes into Charge Bolt to maximize the damage output of the Lightning Sentry. Eventually, every now and then you might need to use it if there is a immune to physical monster, for example. So that's about the skill tree. Now let's go over the more interesting part of the build, and that's gonna be the inventory and the gear. So let's start with the charms first. Because of the item setup, recently I've been experimenting a lot with different items and equipments, variety of setups, and all expensive or cheap or mixed both. So ultimately this is the best setup which I came up with. Let's start with the charms. So as you can see, all of them are targeting stats boost and resistances. We've got also a Hellfire Torch charm with very low rolls on it, but this doesn't really matter, we're just wearing it for the 3-2 assassin skills mainly. And now let's start with the items, starting up with the gloves. These gloves are game boat, you can check that video out. Really decent ones, plus 2 martial arts skill, 20% increased attack speed, as well as lightning resist 21. Decent gloves overall. Of course there can be much better ones, but that's what I'm using for this character. Let's go over the rings. The first one is a must-have Raismon Frost ring. This one provides you with a decent amount of attack rating as well as pretty good chunk of dexterity. This one is a 20 to dexterity roll. Also cold absorb, and a very important option, cannot be frozen. The other ring is a Carrion Wind ring. This one is very helpful. The 8% chance to cast level 13 Twister on striking is very beneficial. I'll explain why later on. We also got 9% life stolen per hit, 142 defense versus missiles, and a massive amount of poison resist from this ring, also helping us to cap out on poison resist. 10% damage taken goes to mana coming from this item as well. Let's quickly talk about the amulet. This one is the best in slot, definitely in my opinion. That's the Cat's Eye, 30% faster on walk, 20% increased attack speed, again 100 defense versus missiles, stacking up quite nicely with our carrion ring. 25 to dexterity, really decent chunk on this item as well. Now let's go over the boots. So definitely in my opinion the Shadow Dancers are the best in slot. These are Myrmidon Greaves and they provide the maximum kick damage amount for the assassin. They also come up with 1 or 2 Shadow Disciplines, so I recommend you to get the 2 Shadow Disciplines ones. They also have 30% faster run walk, 30% faster hit recovery, and they can spawn with I think up to 25 dexterity, which is again a massive chunk. My ones currently got 2 and 17, so they're decent enough roll. Again, as I've said, the bonuses to dexterity and strength are buffing up your character dramatically, so we've got a big amount of dexterity already coming from our ring, as well as our amulet, and now the boots. Let's go over the helm now. So what we've got is a socked G face with a Raw rune just to get additional 30 fire resistance. This one provides us with 30% faster hit recovery, 35% chance of crushing blow, the deadly strike which does not work, and 15 to strength. So let's talk about the belt now. What I'm using is the Thunder God's Vigor. This one provides us with 20 to strength, again really decent amount, 20 to vitality, as well as 10 to maximum lightning resist, and the lightning absorb coming from this item is very helpful. Ultimately I use this belt whenever I do Ubers or PvP battles, and depending on the runs I'm actually doing. Mostly I like to wear Nosferatu's Coil. This is the other belt which I definitely recommend. This one comes with 10% increased attack speed, 5% life stolen per hit, slows target by 10%, and 15 to strength, as well as 2 mana after each kill, so again decent strength boost on that one as well. Now let's talk about the armor. So I'm using a socked Leviathan Kraken shell with a Tau rune just to get additional poison resist. This item is also providing very high amount of defense and it's indestructible, so it's saving up a decent amount of gold on repairs, which you can end up spending on game building, for example. The 45 to strength, that's a absolutely massive amount, and let's just show you the damage difference if I remove my armor, so you can see how beneficial that strength amount is. Now the damage reduced by 24 is stacking extremely well with the next item we're gonna talk about, and that's the Storm Shield Monarch Shield. This one is also being stocked with a perfect diamond gem just to increase the resistances as much as we can. Again, indestructible item, so saving up on repairs. Massive amounts on defense on this shield as well, 35% faster block rate, increased chance of blocking, very high chance to block overall. Again, very high strength booster on this item, 30 to strength. It also comes with the most important option, damage reduced by 35%, so these two items stacking up together, providing us with extremely high damage reduction and pretty good survivability as well as defense. In terms of stat boosts, we get extremely high stats by wearing exactly these pieces of equipment, so from all my experiments this is ultimately the best gear setup which you can achieve. Apart from the charms, of course, these ones are not that good, but in terms of gear, this is definitely what you wanna aim for. On the Switch I've got just a Spirit Shield and a CTA to pre-buff myself, and now let's discuss what kind of a content you can do with this character. Basically you can do absolutely everything. You can do cows, you can do Ubers, you can do PvP, you can do PvM, you can melt absolutely everything with this build. It works extremely well on all difficulties, even at players 1 or players 8, it doesn't really matter, you can do it all. She's just so strong and powerful. Now let me show you a quick example of a Chaos Sanctuary run. So I've got the open portal in from the Chaos Sanctuary. Now let's go ahead. So first up, starting up with pre-buffing with CTA, and let's go ahead. The gameplay is actually very simple. sometimes you just lay a few traps down and you start kicking the enemies, depending on the situation. And if I'm cursed with low resist curse, I might use the Cloak of Shadow skills, but that one is not very necessary. It's very occasional, actually, so I like to jump from side to side. Let's see what we're doing. So the procs which we're getting with this setup, the Twister and the Tornado procs, they work extremely well. They provide a AoE effect as well as mini stun on the enemies whenever they proc, and also the static field proc chance from the Stormlash is extremely good as a AoE effect on this character. Definitely kills a lot of big groups and burn downs a lot of enemies very efficiently. Works well on single targets as well as multiple targets. You can burn down two bosses extremely easy utilizing the static field procs from the weapon, and basically works extremely well in every situation. Doesn't matter if there are many enemies, doesn't matter if it's single target, you just melt absolutely everything. You can see the damage output is absolutely insane. There's nothing which we can stand us, and we just go ahead and kill pretty much everything as we wish. We're also quite tanky because of the damage reduction we've got from our pieces of gear. The only problem I have, it's not exactly a problem, it's kind of a, I'd say, some annoying thing which you have to do is to pre-buff yourself with CTA a bit more often, because this build and setup lacks the overall amount of O skills which are boosting up the duration on your buffs from the CTA, so that's the annoying part of this build. But basically, if you just pre-buff yourself a little bit more often, you'll be okay. Doesn't really hurt the gameplay overall. And as you can see, we're kicking everything very strong. We're just killing machine at that stage. Put it that way. There's nothing which can stand our attacks. So let's go ahead, pre-buff quickly again, lay down a few traps, teleport on this dude, kick him in the butt, and then carry on to the next guys after him. So the AoE, even without using traps, is, I'd say, very good and very high. So this guy is actually immune to lightning and immune to physical, so this is a problem. He also went out. So I don't know what we're gonna do with him. Anyway, let's go over the next guys. Let's quickly pre-buff. Lay down a few traps, cast Cloak of Shadows, and just start melting everything. So very good skill, the Cloak of Shadows. Just blinds down enemies, they don't really attack you that much. You can see I'm using the Dragonflight skill quite often. I like to move quickly with it. It also do a decent amount of damage as well. So now, before these guys, I'm gonna lay down a few traps. Again, cast the Cloak of Shadow skill because they actually hard hitters, so I don't want to take my risk on them. Melt them down very quickly. Let's go over the next guys. Again, quick pre-buff. Lay down a few traps. Okay, let's pound the other guys. It might be a bit more difficult if they curse me with lower resist, so I might have to be more careful and just clear out these guys first. As you can see, I've got the lower resist, and this can be actually deadly with the next group. Anyway, we've got everything under control, and there we go. So let's pick the Infector of Souls. Can't really reach him, there we go. And now we've got a problem with the Vizier of Souls. He's just way outside the map. Don't know what I'm gonna do with him. But looks like that was it. Let's give him a check. Okay, where is he? Oh, he's down there. Okay, come on. There we go. So the shadow is also kicking him. That's it. Good boy. And now we're gonna have the Diablo fight. This fight is actually quite sad for Diablo and very funny for us, as you can see in a minute. Okay, let's start kicking him in the butt, and there we have it. Just a few kicks, and it's just so weak for this build. Doesn't really do anything. Basically killed him within a second. And that's about it for this setup, guys. I hope you like this build. I hope this video is being helpful for you. You know what to do if it was. Also stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you later. Bye.